सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच दैवमेवापरे यज्ञं योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञं यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वति श्रोत्रादीनीन्द्रियाण्यन्ये संयमाग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयानन्ये इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति सर्वाणीन्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयम योगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते।
All right. So the last one we did was Brahmarpanam Brahmavi. That is the way a yogi who is fully established in Brahman, he sees himself as Brahman and he sees everything else as Brahman. For him, that's the yajna that he's doing continuously. So there is not a single moment in his thinking where he's wavering from that thought. So when we see Prakriti is, or the nature is made up of two things. It is material, which is basically the elements of, or a combination of space, air, fire, water, earth, and the activity, karyam. So Prakriti is matter and action. So that is what Prakriti is made up of, which is basically physics and chemistry. So everything which is observed is Prakriti. And the thing that we have to understand is nothing in this Prakriti stays constant. It is constantly changing. Everything is continuously changing, but because of our raga with things, we see it as constant. If suppose we have a house, we think it is going to be there permanently. Or if we have a relationship, we think it is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Before that relationship was not there, it is there, and then it will not be there. So everything has a life cycle. So, and it is not like there is a beginning and end, but between also it is constantly changing. Some days you have great mood, other days you are, in dumps. So, so we are in that state of continuous change. So that is what we have to understand. The thing that is not changing is Sat or Brahman. So Brahma is what sustains everything in this universe. That Sat is never absent from anywhere. What is the biggest example of Sat? It is I. Because I am always there. In every transaction, I is always there. There is not a single moment when I is missing. When I'm saying I don't mean body. I don't mean the pranas or the senses or the mind or the intellect. I am talking about that I, because of which I feel I am, my existence itself, that existence is, then I superimpose the different, what do you call it? The conditionings, body is a conditioning. So when I say this body, then I say this, that is different from me. This is different. What is Brahman? What is self? That this which never becomes that. See, this is something close, that is something far. But when we are talking, we can say this book, or this phone. And when I put it away, we say that phone, So this and that is basically a distance. It's not, we are still talking about an object. That, this means it is that which is the closest, which never becomes that. Sharir can become that, we can say, but the most innermost I, you cannot even perceive it, right? Because for perceiving something, you have to have a perceiver, right? If I am able to perceive Atma, then that must be something else which is the perceiver of that Atma, right? So that is something we have to understand, So from Brahmarpanam only this thought had come. So I'll now continue with the next verse. Daiva meva. Now Bhagwan is talking about how people see the other yajnas, So let's see what is the other yajnas that Bhagwan, and there are several of them. So next 5-6 verses are all about the different yajnas. So previous shloka was about the Brahmanisht, the one who is totally established, the Jnani, who sees Brahman alone, nothing else, See, it's like when you are watching a TV, if you just watch TV, the example of screen and all that is old now. So if we see just the blank TV, it is always same. Nothing is changing in that. But when we are watching something on that, then it is just a play of colors, right? It's nothing else but just colors being splattered in a certain order that makes it look like something is happening. But it is nothing but just colors, forms and colors. So now the next verse is about a karma yogi. The first verse was about the Jnani. Now it is about karma yogi. Apare yogina. Apare means the other. But the other yogis, apare yogina, daivam yajnam eva paryupasate. They perform the, invoke devas, different devas, or the manifested God, in form of Shiva or in form of whatever devatas are there. And then he says, okay, this is one. The second is, and some others, apare, Brahmagnav, they are seeing the Brahma Roop Agni. That means Brahma Roop Agni is the one that they are focusing on. And here the word used is yogina. So every yajna is a little variation from the previous one, but it is all pointing to the focus of that yogi. What is his focus? So first is that he focuses on a manifested form of God. That's one yajna. Then Brahmagno. Brahmagno is the Brahma Roop Agni, that he's focusing on that. That is his yajna, that he's seeing everything getting, merging into Brahman. Brahman alone is the truth, and everything else is coming from there and going back into that. That's Yatena. Yatena means through that yajna of vichar. How does he do it? Through a continuous vichar. Continuous or vivek or vichar. Vichar is a way to see the difference between. See, our problem is when we think about something, we think with raga dvesha, right? When we go beyond raga dvesha, then comes vichar. Vichar is a way to go beyond any raga dvesha. likes and dislikes, so you go beyond that. So this is what he says, yagyam apajuhyati. So this is the jiva yajna. This is for a person who sees himself as something that I am, and then there is Brahman, there is manifested God, and so his effort is to the purpose of yajna. Okay, let's first understand what is yajna. Yajna is where the third chapter had a lot of verses on yajna. Bhagavan explained what yajna is. Yajna is where you focus your attention on something for a higher cause. When your focus is for a higher cause, and the ultimate goal of this yajna is that you have to drop your raga dvesha, that your focus is only on something higher than your own personal things don't matter in that yajna. जैसे बड़ा कोई यज्ञ हो रहा है, you have seen people doing yajna where whole community gets involved. Somebody is bringing rice, somebody is bringing some ghee, somebody bringing milk, somebody bringing whatever, and at the end of it, everybody gets some prasad, but the offering is for the God. You are offering to that, in that Agni, which is, now he says different Agnis also, but let's start with here. First one is about Brahmagna. So this Agni is Brahma Agni, and Yagyam up Juhyati, which means they do the Havan in this Brahma Agni. So that's one. Then understand what is Deva Yajna. So Deva Yajna is, we have 3 different categories of scriptures, right? So one is the Shruti, then we have Smriti, and then we have Puranas. So each one of them have different, we call it Devas, right? In the Vedic, we have Indra, Agni, all these, the devatas which are providing us with the, basically the subtle matter of this universe, which provides us with all these things. And then we have Smritis, which talk about, Smriti, and have like Ganesha, Shiva, all these are in those Smritis. And in the Puranas or in the other scriptures, we will see like totally manifested Bhagwan as avatars, So we worship Ram, Krishna, the others. So this is this is how they perceive it. So any kind of yajna is fine. Bhagwan is saying, kush to karo, so if not Brahma, then do Deva Yajna, So, and the purpose of that is that you are offering something to Bhagwan, thinking that Bhagwan will be pleased with my offering, that, and this is all part of the Karma Yoga only. So you are doing it for a higher cause, and your offering is to Bhagwan with this mindset that may my mind become purified through this yajna. Everything is about purification of mind. See, the problem is always in the mind. It is not anything physical. It's always, the bondages are also mind, because Raga Dvesha reside where? They reside in the mind. So all those things are in the mind. So when we say Brahmagni, so the yajna is where the Agni is Brahman, and this fire is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the truth, the knowledge, when I say knowledge, I don't mean knowledge about something. I mean the source of all knowledge, which is Brahman only. Ultimately, it is the self-knowledge, because of which my mind and intellect become sentient enough to perceive world. That perceiving of information is called the material knowledge, or what we call as the science. And the understanding the real source of knowledge is only Brahman. There is nothing else, So in this case, in this yajna, the person is offering himself. He's saying this jiva is actually offering to Brahman, that aham brahmasmi, that kind of. So meditate with that identity in that Brahman. So this is called, let's see this. The first one is preparation, where they say Deva Yajna. The second is Jnana Yajna. It says that in this one, Brahmagno Vapare Yajna. Yajna Naivo Pujahite. So, point is that the whole act of Yajna is the altar of worship is Bhagwan only, in all of them. Bhagwan in different forms, whether it is Brahma, whether it is Deva. And now Bhagwan says, okay, if you can't do this, these are difficult ones. So what next is available? So next it says, Shotra Dini Indriyanyanye, matlab anya. Now the other yogis, other people who are not doing this Brahma Yajna or Deva Yajna, they do Shotra Dini, means all the senses. Kshotra is hearing, whether it is hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, all that comes under the Kshotra Dini, all the, what do you call it, the एक होती है कर्म इंद्रिया, एक होती है ज्ञान इंद्रिया. So this is talking about the ज्ञान इंद्रिया. Kshotra-dini is the ज्ञान इंद्रिया. What do? They are offering to Bhagwan with Sanyamam Agni. The Agni is Sanyam. Sanyam means self-control. That you are offering your senses to this Agni of self-control. So this is important. So this is one. And then Shabdadini, Vishayan Anya. Then others, some other yogis. So we are perceiving this world, right? And how are we perceiving the world? Through our senses only. There is no other way to perceive the world, right? Either you hear. So if I want to divide the world into how many categories, we can say there are only 5 categories. Something that you can hear, something that you can smell, something that you can touch, taste, or what is it? Hear, taste, touch, smell, and seeing, right? So this is how the world is, right? So Bhagavan says, continue to see these things, you are not, Bhagavan is not stopping. Convert it into a yajna. What kind of yajna? All these indriyas are going to be offered in the sanyama. Sanyama means in total control. Just control your senses. That's what it means. This yajna is sense control. Then Bhagavan says, okay, now let's do the next one. There are 5 sense objects. There's 5 senses, right? The eyes, the ears, the nose, the skin, which is touch, and taste, right? So this is the 5 ways we can perceive the world. There is no 6th way to perceive the world. Our Vedas are like, they go so much in details. Okay, this is how 5 things are. And there are 5 sense objects which are actually feeding these 5 sense indriyas. So it says, what is it? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Right? Nothing else. This is it. This is how the world is, if you want to break it up. So sound, touch, taste, smell, and form or color, So this is how the world is. These yogis offer it to, they look at their senses and they say, I'm going to offer it to this world of sense objects, but with control, which means that this ahuti that I am giving of these senses is offering to, with the fire of total self-control. Let's understand what this means. This means that we go haywire, right? So suppose I am going to eat something, right? Taste something. Now, one is to taste it, right? The other is to have this raga for something, that I will only eat this, or I crave for things, So that craving has to be surrendered. So whatever you get, that is prasad. You are offering your senses to Bhagwan now. This is one yajna. Bhagwan is very kind, It says, okay, if you can't do this, then do this. If you can't do this, then see the world, which is made up of these 5 different, classifications. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. That you offer that, but with control means what can I take? So there is tamasic intake, there is rajasic intake, and there is sattvic intake. So move from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic. That's the goal. What is the ahuti we are giving? We are moving towards sattva. That's what the goal is. Because ultimately, and then you have to see how much, if I'm eating something, I'm seeing something. Suppose we get addicted to watching TV, then how much TV should we watch? So everything has to be controlled. This is the yajna. Bhagavan gives definition of yajna is, now Shankara, in the Shankara Bhashya, Bhagavan says, what can I intake? Means through senses, what should I take? He says, you take what is sattvic. Try to remove all the tamasic and then rajasic. Sometimes you have to have some of that, but minimize it. That's what it means. That your focus should be sattva. Like what I eat should be sattvic food, Stop the intake of, when I say tamasic, means meat or those kind of things, or excessive masale also becomes tamasic, because they are addictive to our tongue, So that is, it's called Vishaya Grahanam, How do we intake things, This is the yajna that we are talking about here. What can I watch? What can I listen? What can I, So in the Ramcharitmanas, Valmiki ji and Ram Bhagwan have this samvad. In that, Valmiki ji is explaining it to Bhagwan, though he says, you know everything, but I'm going to tell you anyways, that everything has to be offered to Bhagwan. Even when we are, because you cannot survive without the senses interacting with the world. There is no way you can, right? But how we interact should be done in a yajna spirit. That's what basically it means. And take it as a prasad. Whatever you get ultimately is prasad. And so this is Vishaya Grahanam controlled Vishaya Grahanam. Because ultimately you have to get rid of your likes and dislikes. Raga dvesha has to be eliminated through this fire of self-control. Jaise, okay. Now Bhagavan continues with more of this yajna. So you understand Brahmarpada, ultimate, right? Then Deva, then, Indriya. Then Bhagavan says, okay, now he says about pranas. Same yajna can be for prana and organ of actions, So how do we do that? Kehte sarvani indriyani karmani pran karmani chapare. Means the other yogis work on that. Atma sanyam yoga now, matlab it's a yoga agni, juvyati jnana deepite. Now let's understand. The other apare means the others. So there are many others here. First, if you can't do this, then do this. If you can't do this yajna, then just understand, control your senses. If you have a problem with that, let's go to the next one, which is sarvani indriyani karmani. Matlab, put all the karma indriyas into action as an offering to Bhagwan. Prana karmani chapare. And the pranas also to be offered in this agni. Of what kind of agni? Atma sanyam. Again, self-control. So if you have, so prana karmani, action through pranas, all the, that we are, breathing exercises, all that is coming under prana only. So they do this yajna, havan, in what? Jnana deepite, with illuminated by which fire? Jnana deepite means they are illuminated by the fire of Atma Sanyama. Atma Sanyama means through the effort of self-control. So this is what, that means it is kindled by this Jnana Deepite. Jnana Deepite means from the knowledge that we have acquired through our scriptures. Here Jnana word is for the knowledge, that what is sanctioned by our scriptures, what is acceptable by our scriptures. When we say acceptable by scriptures means which are commonsensical things to do, So, so Indriya and Prana are offered with the Yoga Agni. Yoga Agni means, now Bhagavan will explain this Yoga Agni in the next one, which is basically called Samadhi Yoga, that we are going to talk about it. Now, the point is, it is not a foolish control. It has to be intelligent control. Not like the three monkeys of Gandhiji. कि एक ने आंखें बंद कर ली, एक ने कान बंद कर लिए, एक ने मुंह बंद कर लिया. Not like that. You interact in the world with this jnana, with this proper understanding. कि what is the function of these things and what is the way that I will be uplifted in this, The goal is manashuddhi, right? How do I use this yajna with the karmendriya and pranas to purify myself? That's the goal. So Bhagavan says, through Atma Sanyam, controlled. Everything is controlled. Everything has to be measured. How we deal in this world, what we say to world, When you speak, you have to be very careful what you say, We say that, okay, Satyam Vada. But Satyam Vada can be sometimes very dangerous, So he says, uske saath unhone add kar diya Priyam Vada. Ki you have to say nicely. Don't blurt out, and they also say things that are hitam vadaha, that will benefit others. Why you want to say something that are hurtful? It may be true, but why say it? If it is not going to benefit others, keep quiet. So when to say, what to say is all part of this yajna. So that is called the Indriya Karmani Yajna. So Atma Sanyam Yogina Juhyati Jnana Deepite. And that has to come through the knowledge. It should not be like, okay, I'd say I'm not going to lift my hands, or I'm going to stay in one spot for 10 days, and if it doesn't work, then I'll stay on one leg, That's not what Bhagwan is saying here. Bhagwan is saying in a controlled way that, basically you have to understand how you interact with the world, because that's how you interact with the world, through your karmendriya and jnanendriya. Jnanendriya is intake, karmendriya is how your output, So, okay. And not foolish control. It has to be measured control. It has to be something with proper knowledge, with proper understanding. Whatever you do has to be with proper understanding. Let's go to the next one. I'm covering it fast because, they are all similar thought process. So this from Brahmarpanam all the way to 30 is 24 to 30 is yajnas, different yajnas Bhagwan is talking about. Now, in the next one, it says, okay, if that is difficult for you, I'll give you 5 more, So he says, Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna tatha pare, swadhyaya jnana yajnyascha, yatayah sanshitat vrataha. Okay. Now, let's understand this one. These are some of the other yajna, or other people practice it this way. That's what Bhagwan says. And the others, apare means the others will do sanchit vrataha. Sanchit vrata is with very sharp, it's like they are very determined to excel in certain things, So this sadhaka, this yatataha, those people who are putting in an effort, there are 4 types here. Their first one is dravya yajna. Dravya yajna is material yajna. Material yajna, I'll explain that. Then the second one is yoga yajna, which is about yoga, which is not like the exercise yoga, but what is called the Ashtanga yoga. The other is called Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna. And then, Swadhyaya is different, Jnana is different. So what we are doing is Jnana Yajna. What this particular thing, if we want to give it a name, what kind of yajna we are doing? We are doing Jnana Yajna. Swadhyaya Yajna is self-study, or you can say, like even chanting, japa, they will all come under the Swadhyaya. Jnana Yajna is where you start to understand the real import of that, or the real meaning of these the chantings or the scriptures, So now let's understand. So Dravya Yajna is, okay, now I have some material, right? So how do I use this material? Can I do something good for the others with what I have? Yatha Shakti. Yatha Shakti means whatever is your capability, do that, You go, whether it is charity, tirtham, the distribution of your wealth, or distribution of annam, food, even providing residence, all those come under the Dravya Yagna. That means, see, the goal of Yagna is, or the Karma Yoga is that you offer whatever you have to the world. Not whatever you have, but with your ability, understand that everything belongs to the samsara only. Even my own body, my senses, mind, everything belongs to samsara. Then use it for samsara. That was the goal of Karma Yoga. Here it says, okay, with this Dravya Yagna, you do that. Basically, it means be generous in giving. Be always. हमारा होता ना आजकल we get emails about Giving Tuesday. All the charitable organization keep sending. Yes.
So the point of all these yagnas is still for Chitta Shuddhi only?
Chitta Shuddhi only. There is no other
Even
point.
the Dravya Yagna, everything.
Dravya Yagna also. That means you loosen your Raga Dvesha. See, when you give with your heart, you say, okay, this is, I'm sharing. This is my yagna towards Bhagwan, If I have something, let me be generous, Otherwise, our sansar tells us to hold on to things, aparigraha, So we want to, or parigraha, that is to hold on to things. Bhagwan says, no. This is, everything should be fluid, Keep, when you give more, it comes back in a multiple ways, So kabhi sochna nahi chahiye is bare mein. Anyway, this is
Dravya Yagna, I feel, is more for Chitta Shuddhi than any other one. Other ones are for myself.
Yeah.
And then this one is you use your material with others. So you sort of detach from it,
Yeah.
So that, I think that sometimes it's very difficult to go to sort of give, even if you have plenty, giving that to somebody is hard, for a lot of people. So that, I think, is greater for Chitta Shuddhi than anything else, because you loosen your grip on your material
So
possession.
giving with the attitude of no expectation.
No expectation.
Obviously. Otherwise, it's not giving.
Then it is a business that I'm going to give, but my name should be plastered all over the place. That sabse bada data here. So as per the need, it has to be, the mind should be working with spontaneity. मतलब देने में घबराना नहीं चाहिए. You should be able to, when you give generously. We have this in Taittiriya Upanishad, in this convocation address. What is it called? Hiya deyam, bhiya deyam, and give in plenty, उसके बारे में सोचना नहीं चाहिए. So anyways, so this is Dravya. Then Tapo Yajna. Tapo Yajna is self-denial. That you, suppose you like something and say, okay, I'm not going to have it. That is a tap. Or you do vrata. When you do vrata is that, okay, I'm going to do Ekadashi Vrata or Shivratri or Navratri or whatever else the different vratas are there. That is, normally we think it is just for food only. But no, it is not just food. It is for thought, speech, and action. These vratas have to be, this whole thing is tapa. Tapa means you basically let your mind understand that it doesn't have a free access to everything, that you basically control it. So that's what tapa is. We start with upavas. Upavas means, upa means near, vasa means staying. So when you have, when you sit near Bhagwan, that is what real upavas is. So you have to, the goal of that is single pointedness of the mind, that you actually sharpen your mind through that. That means it's not like saying, "Arey, kab khatam hoga?" That thought should not even arise. If you do a vrat, then it has to be something that you do as a offering to Bhagwan, that this is what I am doing. Okay. Jaise, in Ramcharitmanas, when Bhagwan went to the forest, all the people went with him, the whole Ayodhya went with him. Then Bhagwan said, no, 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 you go back. And then he crossed Gangaji, and then everybody came back. But they decided that they will also do tapa just like Ram. So everybody gave up something. When Bharatji came back, then he was staying in Nandigram, which is, outside in a small, like a hut, which was built under the earth, so he was staying under the earth. He says, Bhagwan is on the earth, so I have to be below him. So his sacrifice was even more than Bhagwan. Really. Kehte Ram Rajya was not because of Ram, it was because of Bharat. Bharat put the neeve, the foundation of Ram Rajya. In the name of Ram, he did that. So that is the greatest tapa. So this is, the tapo yajna. Yoga yajna is about the offering of yoga for the worship and purity of mind. Like just say yam, niyam, pratihar, asana, pranayam, all that, list is there. So Bhagavan says, okay, if you want to do it, then that is another yajna that you can do. But it has to be with the proper understanding, Everything has to be done with clarity. यही नहीं कि किसी ने कह दिया, जैसे, where my brother lives in India, there is a neighbor who is like who claims himself to be a yogi. So he said, okay, I'm going to give you a mantra. But that mantra was so meaningless, he said something and I said, what is the point of that? Because you are not really, it is not helping you to cleanse yourself. It is mechanical repetition. Ultimate goal is that you have to have chitta shuddhi. I say that over and over again, but that's the goal of it. If it is not purifying you, then it doesn't help. You can in the morning do like 10 minutes of this, but all day long you are telling lies and telling, doing things that are not appropriate, then those things don't make sense. So anyways, let's move on to the next yajna. So he says, the next is the Swadhyaya yajna, which I talked about. Basically, it is the study that you do, self-study, you do japa, you do chantings, all those things, Vishnu Sahasranam, Hanuman Chalisa, all that come under Swadhyaya only, that you practice. The next step, Swadhyaya yajna ke baad hai Gyan yajna, which is understand the meaning of that and see how it will make you a better person. When I say make you a better person, means how does it cleanse yourself? How does it help you purify? So purpose of yajna is purification only, purification of mind. So this, what we are doing is Gyan yajna. Yataha yati, a true sadhu, yata means yati, the one who has given up everything, the one who is sannyasi. For them, it is sanshita vrataha. Sanshita vrataha is where you are living a very hard life, like a sharp vrata. Your whole life is to dedicate yourself that, okay, you know what, my mind and intellect are totally surrendered to Bhagwan now. I don't listen to them. There is no way that my mind will control me. I have total control over it. That's what it is. So it also makes your intellect very sharp, very subtle. Okay. I think we'll stop here. There's a lot of yajnas, but two more. That's it. Two more verses and we will be done with this yajna thing. But Bhagwan, the whole point of this yajna is to, whichever way Bhagwan is talking about, yajna is not just ek havan kar liya. Yajna, all these are called yajna only. In I think in the 10th chapter where Bhagwan is giving all his vibhutis, so he says, in yajnas, I am Gyan Yajna. So anyways, we will continue. But next we will do it next Thursday. Tuesday we will be in transit. So
कहाँ जा रहे हो? I'm so sorry, I came late.
no
India
way.
जा रहे हो?
Huh?
India?
So I'll be doing it from India.
Wow.
We'll wrap it up. I think another 4 or 5 days. That's it.
रूपला जी आप भी जा रहे हो? Nice.
Yeah.
बंधी हूँ ना इनके साथ.
अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा है.
How long you'll be gone? We'll be gone for the winter.
Nice. Good time to go.
Sorry?
Good time to go.
I know, but I think we have to change the time frame of our travel to India. Winter time, the family misses us here. They all want, for the holidays together and stuff like that, and we are gone. So we tried last few years to go around this time. I think we have to change that. Enough. Everybody's complaining.
You can go in the beginning of January.
Yeah, something like that.
what
That's next time. That's what we plan to do, mid-January or something like that, or end of January.
Any Tirthyatras planned?
Something will happen for sure, because two places definitely are already on the schedule. One, every year somehow we end up going to Banaras, so that one trip will be happening. And
we are going to Ayodhya also.
We're also going to Ayodhya.
See the new Rama Mandir.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And
So-
then we are going to which one is it in Indore? The Kaleshwar.
Ujjain.
Mahakaleshwar.
ओमकारेश्वर and महाकालेश्वर
Hmm.
पास में ही हैं.
Right. So these few things are planned already, but then a lot of things just come up.
I was thinking maybe if any of you guys are interested, we can go for Char Dham Yatra in summer.
I am interested.
Yeah.
In summer, he said.
Summer.
I know.
Maybe in summer, because you are going towards Gangotri, Yamunotri. They're all little.
Colder places.
They are not
Because-
open now until
Yeah,
the
in winter time, many places are shut down also.
Yeah.
So August time frame.
So please keep us in the loop, Rajiv ji, Rupla ji. when
Yes.
this happens.
Next year,
So,
yeah.
are you planning to do like the helicopter thing, or because Yamunotri is like 14.5 kilometers up the hill?
चढ़ेंगे ना?
चढ़ेंगे.
कैलाश है तो अभी क्या
But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what majority people want to do then. journey. Yeah, you see, when you do pilgrimage, then this physical activity is what makes it feel like pilgrimage. But if you're in a comfort, the helicopter ride, and you did this, and you don't
it
even
is
know what you
touristy.
saw because the helicopter just went by, and so then that's not. It doesn't have that same impact. I mean, of course, it is a yatra still, but it doesn't have the same impact. You have to, do some physical labor to get
Right.
there, to do the darshan. In my home, the shrine we have set up is at the third floor.
I know. ऊपर चढ़ना पड़ता है.
Every morning we have to go to do the darshan. It feels like a pilgrimage.
बड़ा अच्छा बनाया हुआ है. It has like the bells on the side. और भगवान को हम आ रहे हैं.
नीचे से बजा के फिर हम ऊपर जाते हैं. Yeah.
I was listening to another satsang, about so I remembered one point from there that जो आप कह रहे थे, कि when we do an action, if any action that we do, if we associate with either the body or mind, then it is not a yoga, right? Because उसका फल मिलता है, उसका फल create होता है. But if it is like, क्योंकि we always constantly say कि somehow the mind is so clever, or maybe it has been tuned in such a way कि कितनी भी कोशिश करो तो वो thought आ ही जाता है कि मैंने किया है. तो वो उसका फिर फल opposite, मतलब, it's not a yoga, right? It's not.
Yoga means you have to offer it to Bhagwan. That's
Right.
that even my senses, I am going to offer it to Bhagwan. So, which means that you have to, it has to be controlled.
Right, but to have that constant thought, very strong, कि ये मैंने नहीं किया, भगवान ने शक्ति दी है तभी तो हुआ है.
Yeah, we have to repeat these
कराने
things
वाला
and
भगवान ही है.
remind ourselves. See, every karma will yield a result. It's not just that certain karmas, everything will yield a result, but the ones done with karta bhava will yield a binding result.
Yeah.
And with no karta bhava, then that will yield, result will be there, but it will not bind.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. So
Okay.
every action will yield a result.
So
Phala
one
will be there.
one with kartabha will give a binding result, and the other one will give non-binding result.
Anything that is done as a kamya karma will always bind us. Kamya karma means जिससे कुछ कर
Arising out of a desire.
अपने selfish goal के लिए कर रहे हैं. That will bind us. But if we are doing as an offering to Bhagwan, that will actually set us free.
तो offering जैसा आप कह रहे थे ना, क्योंकि हम वो जब हम करते हैं तो thought आ गया, पर तो that's done, like वो तो that's nullified.
मन का काम है ये, मन का काम है संकल्प विकल्प. That's the
क्या होता
by
है जब
definition.
दूसरे लोग भी कहते हैं ना कि अरे वाह मधु जी क्या जबरदस्त आपने किया है ना.
So that's वो दिमाग में बैठ भी आ जाता है ना.
So नहीं I know. So they अपने आप से भी आते हैं thoughts और बाहर से भी from external sources also put those thoughts in. So each time in each such occurrence we have to remind ourselves that that this was not me. I was a mere instrument. So that those reminders are constantly given. It's not.
और हम इन कॉन्वर्सेशन में बोल भी नहीं सकते हैं ना कि हम अपने आप को बोलना है, बाहर तो नहीं बोल सकते.
रिमाइंडर खुद को ही देना,
बाहर नहीं बोल सकते.
इनफैक्ट जब बाहर से एक्सटर्नल इनपुट आ रहा हो इस तरीके का, सो इनसाइड क्षमा मांग लेना चाहिए कि भगवान and I know that I was a mere instrument and I want to stick to that.
And that has to be continuous, and it is not
constant
like
reminder, just
constant reminder is needed for that.
बहुत जल्दी स्लिप होता है,
बहुत जल्दी होता है,
बहुत जल्दी स्लिप हो रहा है.
Mind is very powerful.
जितनी बारी स्लिप हो उतनी बारी उठो, जितनी बारी
कोशिश हो रही है लेकिन इतनी ऐसे स्लिप हो जाता है, पता भी नहीं चलता. फिर then you realize, oh my goodness.
Think about it this way, ki it is years and years of training. We are actually going reverse now. So we have to retrain our mind. See, abhi jo hai, ye natural hai. This is what you are saying is a very natural state of our mind. What we are trying to do here is actually going totally reverse flow. So it is uphill battle. So mind is, the easy way is to accept whatever mind says, जैसे दुनिया चल रही है वैसे हम भी बन जाए.
Because it is pleasant.
Yeah.
It is
Yes.
pleasant to hear. So,
Yeah.
so mind wants to latch on to that.
Yes.
So that's. But
वो
we have,
प्रेस और श्रेयस का फर्क आ जाता है उसमें, so it is okay. जितनी बारी गिरोगे उतनी बारी आप रिमाइंड करना है कि यार ओहो कोई बात नहीं, अब भगवान, please forgive me, I'll let you down, I'm going to work harder. So slowly, we
remind
are
us that
not
for
in that
oneself.
stage, because
तो कभी कभी ऐसे महसूस होता है कि कहीं नहीं, वही स्टेट पे है, वही, लाइक क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है कुछ. कभी कभी तो लगता है, एटलीस्ट मुझे, मैं अपनी बात कहती हूँ,
that itself is a big improvement कि लग रहा है कि कुछ गलत है, right? See, first is recognition is the important thing. That recognition will also now forces you to think in a much clearer way. See, 99.9% of people don't even think. They think this is how we should think.
और एक बात है, मुझे लगता है कि जितना हम दूसरों से सोशलाइज करते हैं उतना मन, ऐसा मेरा मन, मुझे लगता है कि बहुत डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है. तो जितना मैं अपने आप को दूर रखूं तो उतना शांत ही रहता है. लेकिन जब इंटरेक्शन शुरू हो जाती है तो वो दिमाग में चलता रहता है. मैंने कहा कि क्या हो रहा है, मतलब कोई फायदा तो हुआ ही नहीं, कितना मैं कोशिश कर रही हूँ, लेकिन तो ऐसा लगता है वहां जीरो के नीचे, जमीन के नीचे ही गड़ गया, लेकिन तो कुछ तो नहीं रहा है. तो ऐसा लगता है उठ रहा है लेकिन उधर ही पड़े हैं.
See, path of sadhana is not easy. Nobody ever said that path of sadhana is going to be easy. So that's one. But then we don't have to beat ourselves up. We know that we have a long way to go. We know that it's going to be difficult. We know, but then we have to keep doing it. We don't have to feel, disheartened, or because one thought crossed our mind, or because we felt disturbed, or whatever. But we just have to keep reminding ourselves and keep walking forward. That's all there is. And understand, and we don't have to be so hard on ourselves. That's very important, very crucial. Because we keep beating ourselves, then nothing gets done. I mean, nothing happens. We don't make much progress. So those things happen. You recognize that happened, and just move on. It's okay. It's all right. So that's what we tell our children also.
Right. Move on.
When you're teaching them to wake up to alarms when they're little, and you teach them to set up their alarms and wake up to it, and then they don't. So, and then they miss their bus or whatever. Then, but then you प्यार से फिर कहते हो, अच्छा देखो ऐसे होगा ना, look what happened if you didn't wake up on time. So then फिर से कहते हो, अच्छा let's start again. आज फिर सिखाते हैं तुमको, what to do when the alarm goes off. So like that, उसी तरह से हमें अपने आप को एक baby step सिखाते हैं. हमने क्या करें? If all of us are in the same boat, मधु, तो इसलिए no point beating
Actually,
ourselves up.
6th chapter में Bhagwan talks about that, But there is one, I don't know, इनका है अपना कबीर का है, किसका है, कि करत करत अभ्यास के
जड़मती
हो सजान, रसरी आवत जात के सिल पर देत निशान, which means that karat abhyas, that by continuously reminding